All right, so we're going to do section 3.2, part B, which is standard form to vector form. I'm sorry, not vector, vertex. Okay, so standard form to vertex form. In other words, if I write this mathematically, hold on one second. Okay, so mathematically what they're saying is they want me to get an equation that looks like this. And they want me to change it to look like this. Now I know that may kind of seem weird because all of a sudden this H and K pops out and this like parenthesis is there and everything, but it's actually not that hard to do. You just got to figure out what your A value is and what your vertex is. And we did all that stuff yesterday, okay? So this is kind of like a review, but let me show you how we're going to do it, okay? So what you need, okay, this is what you need to do. Number one, identify A. Number two, find your vertex. Okay, so A, find the vertex. And then step 3, write the vertex form. All right, so we're gonna do those 3 things. Okay, so you're gonna find your A, which is super easy. You're gonna find your vertex, and then you're gonna write the vertex form. Okay, so like I said, we are going to do this using your homework. I'm gonna try to get 4 problems done for you guys. Okay, so number 1 here. So this will be like a Friday treat here. Hopefully we can do a lot of it so you have less to do at home. So this is number 1. It says write each equation in vertex form. Now notice right now it's in standard form. So the need to do is step 1, identify A. What's my A term here? What's A equal to according to this thing? Well, I'm going to look for it right there. Okay, so A is equal to, well, since there's nothing there, A is equal to 1. So that's really easy, guys. There's no reason why you can't get that step done. It's super easy. Look at number 2. What's your A value? Half. What about 3? 2. What about 4? 3. What about 5? -2. What about 6? -1. Easy, right? Finding A is simple. Just look at the number in front of the x squared term. Okay? There you go. That's easy. 2. Now this is the part where you require work. Step 3 is easy. It's as easy as part 1. But step 2 is where you do a little bit of work. Because in order to find the vertex from standard form, remember how yesterday we did the axis of symmetry and then we plug it in and then we got the point? That's what we're going to have to do, okay? So, to do step 2, I got to use this equation. Now remember, this is my B and this is my C, okay? So let's figure out what my X value is for my vertex. Okay, I'm going to put it right here, vertex. It's going to be a point, okay? I'm going to kind of set myself up over there on the right side for the vertex. So let's see, X is equal to -B, which is 8, over 2 times 1. That's my A term. Well, that's -8 over 2. So X is equal to -4. So look, I'm going to put it over there on the right side. My vertex is a -4 comma something. Okay, are we okay with that step right there? Okay, so you get your b and your a, you plug it into that little equation, it's going to give you your x value. Put the x value where your vertex is. So notice I put the x value for the vertex of -4, but I still don't know my y value. But yesterday we talked about the fact that if you know your x value for your vertex and you want to find the y value, all you have to do is plug it into your equation. So this equation right here, I'm going to plug in -4 into the equation. And that's how I find my y value. Now remember I told you from those 3 steps, step 2 is the one that's going to be a little bit of work. The other 2, step 1 and 3, those are going to be easy. But step 2, you're going to have to do some work. So we get y equals 16 minus 32 plus 17. B7 Vina. Hi. I was trying to call you back. Evelyn's in my 6th period. Yeah. No problem. Bye. She's asking me why she's not there yet. I don't have her. All right, where were we at? So y equals to 16 minus 32 is -16 plus 17 is +1, right? So this is a 1. Y equals 1. So I'm just going to put it right here. 1. So notice I've done step 1 and step 2 of the need to do list, right? So I've done the finding the A and finding my vertex. So the last step is write it in vertex form. So let me just write vertex form right here to remind ourselves. Ax minus h quantity squared plus k. All right. Now I know what A is. A is 1. So let me write that down. Y equals 1. X minus, what's my h? If I have my vertex up there of -4, 1, what's the h value? The -4 or the 1? The -4, right? So -4 squared. And then my k value must be the 1 at the end, right? So I'm going to kind of mark it for you guys. Okay, this is h and this is k. So just work it out. So y is equal to x plus 4 squared plus 1. So here are my answers, guys. A equals 1. The vertex is -4, 1. And here is my vertex form. Those are the 3 things they want you to do for all those problems. Well, actually, just for 1 through 6. I mean, I guess you could apply it to 7 and 8. We'll talk about that right now. But basically for 1 through 6. So any questions on that one? We're going to go to 3 after this. But any questions on that one specifically? So notice step 1, if you want, I'll even label it. Step 1 was here. Step 3 was here. Step 2 was here. You'll notice step 2 took the longest. Okay? Step 1, super easy. Step 3, I mean, it took a step, but we just plugged in information we already knew. Right? We just had to plug it in. That's all. So really, just step 2 is the tough one. So let's do number 3. So number 3, we get y equals 2x squared plus 12x plus 22. Okay, so again, I'm going to do step 1 here. What's A according to number 3? What's my A term? So it's a 2, right? Yeah, 2. I'm going to put that right there. A equals 2. Again, easy. Doesn't take a lot of effort to figure that one out. It's right in front of the x squared. Okay? Step 2 is to find your vertex. This is the one that takes a little while. Your vertex should be a point, so I'm setting it up as a point right now. Okay? So let's go ahead and start trying to find the vertex. So the way we find the vertex is that we have to use the axis of symmetry first. So x is equal to negative b over 2a. Now b is 12, so let me write x equals negative 12 over 2 times an a is 2. So that gives me x equals negative 12 over 4. And negative 12 divided by 4, that's a negative 3. So I'm going to get that negative 3, and I'm going to move it to the vertex. I'm going to put it in the x position for the vertex. There it is, negative 3. Are we okay so far? All right. So let's now find the y value. So remember, to find the y, I'm going to get that big old equation up there. And I'm going to plug in a negative 3 into the x value. So 2 times negative 3 squared. 12 times negative 3 plus 22. So again, this is the step that takes a long time. It's not like it's hard work. I mean, literally, we're just dividing, guys. Okay? So it's not like the first step was just division. It's not hard work. It's just you got to remember what to do with it, right? Same with the stuff I'm writing in blue. You're going to plug it into an equation, and hopefully you don't mess up on a calculation. So y equals 2 times 9 minus 36 plus 22. That's 18 minus 36 plus 22. 18 minus 36 is negative 18 plus 22. And negative 18 plus 22, that's a 4. So I'm going to go back up to my vertex point, and I'm going to put a 4 there, okay, for the y value. Let me just wait a little bit, because I know some of you guys are still writing it down. But I'm going to put the 4 and where the y coordinate would be for the vertex, okay? So let me go back up. There it is. Okay, so now the last thing I have to do is put it into this equation. And again, I'm just writing the equation over and over. I had a kid once ask me, and this is years ago, why do I always write the equations every single time? Like, why do I always write the definitions? Anybody know why I do it? Anybody have a guess as to why I would do that every single time? Yeah, I don't even memorize these equations anymore. I've written them down so many times that they're just natural to me. Okay? Whenever you're having problems memorizing anything, if you write it down 3 to 4 times, trust me, you will remember. Okay? So that's a nice little trick for memorization. Okay? Write stuff down. Okay? Your brain will just naturally say, oh, this is what you want. All right, so y equals a is 2. X minus h, so h is negative 3, so I'm going to put it right there, plus k, which is 4. But notice minus a negative 3, that doesn't look very good. Let me put a better looking number there. So minus a negative 3, that's a plus, so this is y equals 2 x plus 3 squared plus 4. If you're not hearing things, the band is supposed to come by during 5th period. So that's what you're hearing. So there you go. There's your A term, your vertex, and your formula, or your form, I guess. And this is kind of what you guys were doing yesterday, right? Finding the vertex, figuring out your A value. Is it opening up? Is it opening down? All that stuff. That's what you were doing. So it's kind of included in here. The only thing we have not mentioned in these problems is this piece right here. Let's see if anybody remembers. What does that number tell me about the graph? The one I circled? The C value? What does it tell me about the graph? It's not the K, but you might think it's the K, which sometimes people confuse it, but it's not that. What is that called? The y-intercept. Thank you. Right? That's if it's in standard form, the number at the very end is where it crosses the y-axis. But notice, look right here. See how that's a 4? See, that's not my y-intercept for vertex form. The vertex form is something different, okay? So the number at the end for the vertex form is just the k value for my vertex. In standard form, though, the c value is my y-intercept, okay? So yeah, I know they mean different things, but just wanted to kind of show you guys that we haven't used it, but you did use it yesterday, and you are going to use it on the back side of this worksheet where they say what's the y-intercept. All right, so let's look at number 5. We'll try to work this one a little faster, okay? Now we can at least try to get to number 7. So yeah, I think we'll have time. So as long as I work this one efficiently. So negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 5. All right, so again, we'll do the easy part. What's a for that equation? Negative 2. 2. Now I'm next. Misspelled that. So it's going to be a point. All right. So I got to figure out my x and y values. So I got to use x equals negative b over 2a. Remember, this is a, b, and c in my equation. So my b value is a 4. So I'm going to write x equals negative 4 over 2 times a, which is a negative 2. All right. So that's negative 4 over negative 4, which is equal to a positive 1. So I'm going to put that right there where my vertex is, a 1. Now I'm going to get my big equation. So I'm going to change the pen here so that if you're following along with notes, you know, like this is where I changed it all up. I'm going to get that 1 value for x and plug it into my equation. So y equals negative 2. 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 5. Go ahead. Oh, okay, never mind. Y is equal to negative 2 plus 4 minus 5. So negative 2 plus 4, that's a 2, minus 5 is a negative 3. So I'm just going to write that right here. So here's my answer for my vertex. Okay, so now all I got to do is plug it into my formula. Again, my formula is a times x minus h squared plus k. So just get your h and k and plug them in. Get your a value, plug it in. This is what you should get as your answer. Negative 2 times x minus 1 squared minus 3. So there's a. Here's your vertex. And there's your vertex form. Any questions on that one? Notice it's always the same exact steps that are going on. I don't know what's going on with the refreshing rate, but the same steps. You're going to use your axis of symmetry. You're going to plug it into your equation. That's how you get your vertex. Plug your vertex into your vertex form, and you're good. Okay? All right, so number 7. Hopefully we can get this one done, and I would have done half your homework pretty much, so that's good. I know I need a graph, so let me put one here. All right, so I'm not sure if I'm going to make it exactly the same size, but I'll try to at least get the numbers to match up. What is it, by 2s? You go up to 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so here's your graph. Now, let's see, negative 2, 1, and it crosses at 3. All right. So I think I did a decent job of graphing it. they want us to write the vertex form, okay? I can only imagine what Miss Kimberly feels like right now, because the band is literally right next to her classroom.
What are they doing for? Just to do it?
Yeah, they always do it on whenever we go against rivals. But they're supposed to be marching around, not holding a concert. So, yeah. So, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some teachers that are going to be mad about this. Okay, so here we go. This is how you're going to figure out your formula, okay? First off, you guys should easily be able to figure out your vertex. It's right there, okay? It's either the highest point or the lowest point. So my vertex is -2, -1. So what's the only letter I need to figure out? I just need the A, right? I got H and K. I just got to figure out A. Now, the way you figure out your A, we did this yesterday in the worksheet. Pick any point. Notice I'm just going to pick this point right here, okay? 0, 3. I think that's the point that it crosses on your graph too, right? So 0, 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my vertex and my point into that formula to solve for A. Remember, this is X, Y. This is H, K. Okay? So let's plug in my Y, my X, my H, and my K into that formula and solve for A. So this will be a little bit challenging. For Y, it's a 3. A, I don't know yet. X is a 0. H is a -2. So that's a -2 squared. And then K is a -1. So let me just work through this. That's going to be a 2 squared minus 1. 2 squared is 4, so that's 3 equals 4A minus 1. Add 1 to both sides, you get 4 equals 4A, right? Because I'm just going to move that -1 over that way. So I got to add it. And so if I divide both sides by 4, I get that A must equal to 1. Okay, now that I know that, I know my A value, I know my vertex, so I just got to plug it into the formula and I'm done. So here it is. Y equals 1 times X minus -2 squared, and then minus 1. So the formula should look like this. X plus 2 squared minus 1.